going to show you how I went from this to this for summer last year. These are the tips I've learned throughout 5 years of training, so hopefully it can help some of you out. So first of all, I thought we'd start with a little background. I went from this physique around December time of 2021, and by June time I looked like this. So I started off at around 83 kilograms and I got all the way down to 70.8. I definitely might have taken it a little bit too far for just a beach body, but I can give you my best tips of what I learned and how I got down there so that everyone can really look their best for summer. So tip 1, using calories as your #1 friend. Calories in, calories out is by all means the most important thing, and just to look good on the beach for summer, anywhere around 12% is very good. I'd say 15% is the cut-off, 15% body fat that is. It's all about being in that healthy body fat range. I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15% body fat is generally quite good for you to look shredded, feel good, feel human. So finding your maintenance calories and going below it. So that's using TDE calculators, which I'll show up on the screen here on how to do it as well. All you do is you put in your age, height, your weight, your activity level, and it gives you a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. And what you can do is you can use things like MyFitnessPal. There's many other apps that you can use to track foods, but tracking your foods so that you've got a rough estimate of what you're eating and going below your maintenance. So usually what I recommend is people go about 200 to 300 below their maintenance. Obviously the lower you go below maintenance, the harder it's going to be, and weigh yourself weekly. So for the first 2 weeks, weight's going to drop pretty rapidly, and that's just your glycogen storage is emptying because you're eating less carbohydrates most likely, you're dropping water retention, so things are going to drop off quite quickly. And then after the sort of 2-week mark, if you start tracking your weight loss, I would say anywhere 0.5 kilograms a week is sort of the sweet spot. So to be as accurate as you can whilst tracking your calories is using a food scale. You don't have to weigh out every single thing, for example vegetables and low calorie fruits, things like that. So just getting a scale helps you keep on track, because most people are eating a lot more or a lot less than they actually think. If you thought, oh, why am I not losing weight, but you're actually 500 calories over your maintenance, then that definitely makes sense. So weighing out your food, scanning it all in to be as accurate as you can, and then obviously making adjustments as you go along if you need to lower calories more because you aren't losing weight enough, or you're losing weight too rapidly to up calories a bit more, because obviously these TDE calculators aren't 100% accurate. It's just to give you a ballpark idea, and then you fix it going up and down depending how fast your weight's dropping. Like I said, I would recommend going at the 0.5 kilogram per week weight loss. Another very important tip that I'd give that I really implemented last year that I didn't really care about at all is water. So I would recommend drinking about 3 liters of water minimum. Another very important tip that I had last year that I never did before is cardio. Cardio is just a way that you can eat a bit more but you burn calories off. I did 15 incline at around 2.8 to 3.2 miles per hour. Is very doable without cardio, but it just makes it a lot easier with cardio. To start off, I recommend doing 10 minutes of cardio 6 times a week, or 20 minutes 3 times a week at the speeds I just mentioned. And I always recommend it fasted, just so that when you're working out, all the cardio that you've done doesn't affect you lifting your weights. I'd either recommend doing it fasted or post-workout, not right before your workout. The types of food, I would say high volume, high protein, high fibrous, low fat foods. Eating a lot of low carbohydrate fruits and veg definitely volumizes your meals, so adding things like broccoli, cucumber, blueberries and strawberries definitely creates a lot more volume. Having things like 0 calorie drinks, low sugar, low fat sauces, 0 calorie ice pops, and switching milk, unsweetened almond milk, things like that, and sweeteners. Now another mini tip, most accurate way to track your food is by weighing it out raw. So for example rice, but most of the time when you scan rice, the weight is actually cooked. So people scan it and it says 100 grams of rice is 120 calories, right? Whereas it's actually around 360. So you just want to make sure you're scanning the right type of ingredients, making sure it's all raw on the back of the packet. Not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, not everyone wants to get down to 1% body fat. Even though they want to, they do not need to, because most of the time, even getting down to 12% fat is exactly where you want to be. Whilst you can be healthy, whilst in summer you can still go out partying, you can still eat foods with your friends without being ultra restricted. So once a week, if you replace one of your meals for a McDonald's, for a KFC, for a meal deal, for a packet of crisps, that isn't going to be the end of the world at the end of the day. All that matters is your weekly total calories calories, and if you're still below your maintenance, you're losing fat. One of your meals is 700, but you're craving McDonald's, then by all means switch it over. It won't really cause too much of an issue. Now, macronutrients, I would just recommend keeping protein relatively high. So I would say 1 to 1.2 times your pound and body weight is the sort of minimum for people that go to the gym to maintain that muscle mass. Calories in, calories out. So macronutrients aren't too important, but I'd definitely say focus on the protein 100%, and the others will just fall into place. Now, another important thing I realized is, as I was saying about cheat meals, about tracking, making mistakes is okay. We learn from it, and it's not going to be the end of the world. I just want to put that out there. You'll always go back on track. Just the next day, just go back to eating what you were eating, do the same amount of cardio, you'll be fine. Next, ab training. Now, I know it's not necessary, but ab training definitely helps. So it's just to mature your abs a bit more. So doing abs around 3 times a week, maybe 5 sets per session, just helps your abs mature a lot more, make them pop a lot more when you're shredded. It's not like they're not going to show, but they might not show as much as you want. Doing that core training, getting developed when you shred all of that fat. I just want to go on to a point of do not overdo the diet, do not create a bad relationship with your food. Don't become too obsessed over it where, you know, sort of you have a cheat meal and then you think in your head, broccoli's going to hate me because I cheated on it. You aren't cheating on anything. It's just you're eating different types of food. You got to learn to respect being healthy, and every so often enjoy yourself. You don't want to ruin family relationships if you're with a girlfriend, things like that. You know, birthday meals. You have to take your time and enjoy yourself. You can't let being on a diet ruin your social life. A lot of people wonder how to make cutting easier for yourself. So I watch a lot of Greg Doucette. That's where I learn a lot of my information from. And he really preaches staying on maintenance calories for your bulk and staying around the healthy body fat range of 10 to 15%. 12 to 15 is pretty lean regardless, and you can put on muscle at maintenance. Now, bearing in mind it is a little bit harder, but it's still possible. You can still have cheat meals every so often, but then when it comes to cutting, rather than being above 20%, you're already sort of in that 12 to 15% mark. So it would only be like, you know, 2 to 4 weeks of dieting and where you want to be for summer, and you're beach ready. So those are things that you should definitely take into account. Another small little tip that I recommend that I implemented in my diet a lot was fasting. All I'd do is I'd wake up, I'd go do cardio, and I'd eat my first meal at around 11 to 12. In the mornings, I don't mind being hungry. I mind being hungry later at night. At night time, I'm not too hungry, and when I'm not hungry, I sleep a lot better as well. So having things like that and creating recipes, you know, Greg Doucette's cookbook, that's a massive thing with all these high volume meals like protein ice cream, recipes like that, which I can make a video on as well. But those definitely help. Obviously, an important thing as well is you want to keep on top of your training. You know, sort of 4 to 6 times a week, weight training, keeping body parts really as trained so you're proportionate. Don't skip leg day. Help yourself keep that muscle so you don't deteriorate and lose it all. The leaner you get, the harder training becomes. Take progress pictures, look at where you've gotten to, and just realize you are lean. And it is unattainable to get even leaner and keep it all year round. It is impossible. I've tried it and I absolutely failed, especially as naturals. So yeah, those are all the tips I've got. If there's any questions, leave them in the comments below, and hopefully it helps some of you guys out. Looking forward to getting shredded with everyone for summer.